Hello friends, welcome back to Uncle Willy's Photoshop Coloring Tutorials video number 3. In this video we will learn more about the tools and create some brushes and try them out. Let's open Photoshop. I have it open here and we're going to go over one setting that I forgot to do in the previous videos. It's under Edit, Preferences, Cursors. Make sure that full-size brush tip is selected here and standard is selected here. Click OK. We're going to start by making some brushes. So with the brush selected in the tools panel, you'll see the brush toolbar up top. In this drop down here, which shows the brush we're on, drop it down and we see the brush panel. It may look like this because sometimes it does by default. The brushes in the general brushes folder would be open, but we want to collapse that. As well, any other brushes you have loaded will appear here. We're going to start by creating our first brush. A size of 32. Just type that in, 32, hit enter. Size of 32 and a hardness of 100%. Click the plus icon and we're going to name that hard. Capture brush preset, size and preset, include tool settings. Don't check include color. Click OK. It will appear at the bottom of the brush panel. Hard, the one we just made, hard. We're going to dial back the hardness to 50% and we're going to click the plus icon and make another brush and we'll name that medium. If I could spell medium. Same settings, click OK. We're going to do a third brush, toggle this to the 0% side, click plus, and we'll call this soft. Same settings, click OK. Now all three of those have appeared at the bottom of the brush panel. We're going to, that one's already selected, we're going to press Control and select the other two. Right click, new brush group, and we're going to name that coloring. Click OK. And now those brushes are in that folder or group. Collapse that group by left clicking, grab it, hold on to it, and bring it to the top of the panel until it starts scrolling. Keep holding it. And now we're going to drop it right at the top, which is not in the general brushes, but right at the top. Let go. Now, those brushes we made appear here. Hard, medium, soft. I'm going to close that up for a second. In our working folder, one of the downloads was Clouds by Mila. We're going to right-click that. Open with, choose Photoshop. Click OK. Now, in that brush panel, at the bottom will be the folder called Clouds by Mila. Dropping down that folder, we see there's a bunch of brushes in there. We're going to collapse that folder again, grab it by left clicking it, bring it to the top of the brush panel, and we'll drop it right in between the coloring and general brushes, right there. Let go. And now we have our coloring brushes and we have Clouds by Mila. We're going to need them later. Might as well do it now though. Now our brush panel is complete. We'll close that up. To show you how these brushes perform, we're going to have to open a file first because we have no file open. We're going to open Three Bears and Cars by double clicking it. Now it's open. What we're going to do is we're going to this new brush, a new layer icon. We're going to click that once and it'll appear. If it didn't appear at the top, it's called layer 1. Just bring it to the top, turn off Three Bears and Cars and the underlying flat color layer. What we're going to do is with this layer selected, which it is, we're going to go to Edit, Fill, and choose White from the drop down. Normal, 100%. Don't worry about that. Don't check that. Click OK. And now it has filled that layer with white. If the brush color was anything but black and white, we can reset the default colors by clicking the little icon here. It resets them to black and white. Now the foreground color is black and the background color is white. Let's be on our hard brush. Choose that. You can click off anywhere over here and by left clicking and holding it, make one pass and you'll see that we've made a brush stroke. Very important shortcut for when using the brush are these two keys on your keyboard. They're bracket keys. And by tapping the left bracket key, you make the brush smaller, and by tapping the right one, you make it bigger. Remember that as we go forward here. We're going to, with that same brush, wait a minute, we made a new layer because I didn't, you know what, that'll catch you out, and just as well it happened now. I'm going to delete that layer and get back on this white layer. If, when you have no layer selected and you paint with a brush, it automatically makes a new layer. So I'm going to delete that again. Make sure we're on this white layer. Now, holding left, click, and stroking makes a brush stroke. By tapping those two keys, the bracket keys, the right one makes the brush bigger, and the left one makes it smaller until it's a pixel. Let's go back to the brush panel and choose the medium brush. Click off over here, make sure that layer is selected. We're going to take another stroke, increase the brush size, another stroke, another one. And you can tell that the edge of this 50% brush is softer than the hard edge of the 100% brush. And we're going to go back out of this by with the scroll wheel on the mouse. We're going to choose the soft brush. We can just tap here and we're still have that layer selected, and we're going to make a few passes, increasing the size of it with each one until it's quite obvious that the hard brush has a hard edge, the 50% brush has a little bit softer edge, and the soft brush has a much softer edge. When you use the scroll wheel, I'm going to reduce the size of that brush. When you use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out, wherever the brush is where you'll zoom in and out. Okay, I'm going to click that layer and we're going to fill that again. we'll fill it with white just to get rid of all that we've done there. We're still on this layer. What I'd like to do is, instead of white, I want to fill it with black. Filling it with black, we'll be able to see this brush, the other brush that we brought in here, the cloud brush by Mila. Just choose the second one and you'll see an indication of that brush. If I click the third one down, it's a little different brush. If I click the first one, it's a little different brush. They're all different, but they all look like clouds. So we're going to choose that first brush. We're going to close this brush panel, and we're still on that layer. And we're just going to click once. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to change the colors around. We're working with black on black. So what we need to do is switch these around, just invert them so the white is the foreground color. Now just click once. And you can see that these brushes are like real clouds. They look like real clouds. And that we're going to use those later, but I just wanted to show you what those were. I'm going to get back on the hard round brush and collapse that panel. We can right click and delete this layer. We don't need that anymore. That was just for example. And bring back the three bears and the underlying flat color layer. Let's save this document. You can just click save at this time because we've already named it. It's already three bears and cars. So we, instead of save as, we can just click save. Now it's saved as the same document. And in the next video, we will start to color. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are and you're following along. Thank you and see you in video 4.